Hello guys, how's it going? Screezilla here, I hope you're all well. So, bit of a cruisy video today. I'm not going to be doing too much too much special stuff in this video. It's just going to be a bit of a bomb run. Nothing too fantastic. The Arado's going to get those bases before me, so that's quite okay. We've got some good cloud cover here as well. So, bit of a cruisy chat today. I've not been uploading too many videos, unfortunately. Just because I've been a bit unwell, so sorry for that. But I thought I would do a bit of a video today just on some of the Italian aircraft coming out, and specifically one important one, and hence why I'm flying the ginormous silver sky whale, the b29. I think that our Arado is going for ground units, not for bases. Joy of joys. Okay, let's turn around again. So far my list has been pretty good. Everything has been spot on that I predicted for the Italian aircraft, which I must say I'm pretty chuffed about. Now, so far we've got the BA-88, the Lynx, which is going to be an interesting plane, because, good God, that thing was hopeless in reality. Beautiful plane, but absolutely hopeless. Yeah, a bit of a. When you say a whale, that thing was a whale. It was a great plane. Don't get me wrong. It was a fantastic plane when it had nothing on board. Unfortunately, as soon as you put a loadout on the plane, as soon as you put any loadout on the plane, and that included weapons, even a couple of 7.7mm guns on the thing, it completely ruined it. But we are getting it, which is really cool, because I do love the plane. It was a very cool plane on an engineering standpoint. We are also going to be getting the Kingfisher, the Alcone, or the Kans Z1007. Again, a plane I'm very much looking forward to. Yes, you can tell I'm a bomber player, I know. I'm a weirdo. But the Kingfisher is a fantastic plane. It looks a bit like the SM-79. It's a Shimichutsu SM-79, but it's much better. It was one of the best bombers in the Italian Air Force, and possibly one of the best medium bombers of the war. Many people will actually argue that point. And, well, something a bit different, just on ground vehicles, we're getting the T-55, which is an interesting tank. We're getting a tank that can survive a nuke. So that's good news. So anyone that wants to drop a nuke on anything, drop a nuke on a T-55, because the crew should survive it. But seriously, that's an interesting tank. We're definitely getting into post-war Korean-Vietnam War vehicles now, which is quite interesting. The other thing we are getting, of course, speaking of post-war vehicles, is the Fiat G91, which is definitely a post-war vehicle. That is a 1957-56. The plane was first taken up to the air, and I think it was put into service in 58. So that means we are going to be getting planes from around that time period. So it opens up a lot of planes, which is going to be quite interesting. Let's hope that Arado had some bombs on board. Hard to tell really, because, well, I think he dropped his bombs on a base, on a few bits and bobs, so let's drop 2 here. Over target, because I forgot my bomb bay door was closed. Oh joy, that's great to show you while I'm bombing. Me, the expert bomber. Anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about was the Pagio P108. Yes, we're getting it. Now, there's no I variant so far, so that means does not look like we'll be getting the variant that has the fantastic 100 and... oh, they're way off. That was terrible. Shouldn't have hesitated with that bloody Arado. So it does mean that we probably... well, it doesn't look like we're getting the 102mm cannon variant, the anti-ship variant, but we are getting the torpedo variant, so it carries 3 torpedoes on board. So that thing is going to be a beast in the Knights of the Sea. Unfortunately, they are the Italian torpedoes, which are fucking hopeless. So I'm going to be doing a video soon on bombing and torpedoes and stuff like that for you guys. If you could leave things in the comments of what you'd like me to answer, anything that you're a bit curious of. Fucking Arado had bombs on board as well. I swear, some people just do not know how to play bombers. So, well, I say that as I missed the fucking target, but anyway, it's going to be interesting for naval battles because, well, although the torpedoes are pretty useless, they are still very devastating if they hit their target. I'm going to open the bomb bay door this time. Try and get it lined up. So the one issue is with the Italian torpedoes, and it's the German torpedoes, which we have in game at the moment, are Italian torpedoes technically. They're very poor for their altitude, and they basically need you to be just above the water to actually do anything, which kind of makes it a bit awkward because being that sort of low makes you a very easy target. These are looking better, I think. Yep, that's good. So it makes it a very easy target, and because it's so big, it's going to be a very easy target for AAA, especially player mounted AAA. And because you need to be going so slow to drop them, it's just going to be very hard to play it in a torpedo role. The P108 was a good plane, but it's not... the anti-shipping variant was not too successful. It was successful against things like merchant ships and stuff, of course, which didn't have the anti-aircraft defense, but when you've got destroyers such as the thingy that I'm trying to think of, whatever class, the Trident class, the Tribal class even, I keep saying Trident, the Tribal class, which, if they actually do introduce the computer aiming system for the AAA, which it did have, well, that's going to really fuck people's days up, because that thing is going to be absolute beast to anything that comes close to it. Now, the thing that is interesting about the P108 is it had remote turrets, hence why I'm flying the B29, because it has remote turrets. Now, if you look, you can see the gunner sitting in their little bits with windows, and they would sit there and look out of those windows and basically fire from those windows. Now, the P108 actually has turrets on the back of its engines. It's very cool. I'd suggest having a look at this plane because it is really neat. It's a really neat design feature. And it's going to make it interesting because, well, it's not got the greatest defense to it. With guns, basically, it's pretty piss poor. But it does have some decent armaments. The other thing is it has a retractable underbelly gun. So it has a retractable belly gun, much like the Liberator. So with that coming in on the P108, and it does actually have it in game from the video I've seen, it's definitely there. Hopefully we'll be seeing the B24 getting the belly gun at last, because they'll have a retractable ball turret system in game, so hopefully that means we'll be getting it on the B24, which had a retractable ball turret. So the Padgeo P108B, there's going to be two variants of it. There's the which ones are we getting? We're getting the B and the and the Series 2, P108B 1 and 2. Now the difference was with the between them is one has less the second production series adopted the nighttime operation. This led to a removal of the nose turret in favour of additional fuel supplies and armour protection. So it sounds like the second one in the line will have less guns on it, but it will have a bit more armour, a bit more protection. In all honesty, that never works in War Thunder. Generally, when you remove guns from a bomber, it makes them a target, and it's pretty unfortunate, really. Also, I believe it only had, I think it did have some 50 cals, but most of them were 7.79 millimeters, or 7.9 millimeters. Pretty low caliber guns, really. So this thing isn't going to be a Death Star. It's not a new TU4. But then again, it does depend on what BR it's put in. But I expect it to be around the same as the Lancaster and B20, B17, things like that. Hopefully, though, it will mean that the Germans will get a heavy bomber soon, because they've been desperately needing one for a long time. So, in other news, as I said, unfortunately I've been a bit ill as of late, hence not too many uploads, and I do say I'm sorry for that one, but there will be some more coming up soon. There's been a lot of announcements for sure, but there's not really been much in the way of new stuff to tinker with. The test server's not up yet. You know, we're still waiting on the new naval beta to come into effect. So hopefully we will be getting that soon. Looks like we're going okay in this game. Torados are pounding artillery and stuff. So hopefully the test server will be sort of springing up soon, so we can actually get some testing done and get some videos out on this new content. It won't be long for the Italian tech tree to be up there for sure, because they've got quite a lot of the planes pretty much finished. They're just working on balancing issues. Hopefully, though, what I'm really interested in is actually the naval combat with the destroyers in game. I really want to test them out, so I'm hoping that in the next month they'll actually do a test, seeing that we do actually have the Soviet and the British destroyer sort of modelled, and we know what it is and stuff like that. I can't see it being too long before we actually get our grubby mitts on it. The trouble about being so high sometimes is you really do take a long time to get down. Sigh. So one of the things I like about my Lancaster is what it lacks in survivability, armament, guns, durability, it makes up for in agility, and you can scrub altitude on that thing really easily, whereas in this lovely American plane, it turns like a paddle steamer, and it just does not scrub its speed very well because it's so aerodynamic. Obviously, being the cigar shape, it helps it go faster, of course, but that does mean that when you're trying to scrub speed, you can't really do that. So as I said, in the comments below, I'd love to see some of your questions on bomber stuff. So what would you like to know more of for bombers? Now, payloads, ways to drop bombs, blind dropping. Obviously not the best game for me today because I did miss my 2 bombs at first, but I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions, and if it's something I don't know, I will look it up for you. Now, yield and base health and stuff like that is a little bit tricky, but I have got a pretty okay setup for working out what that is. So basically, you know, how many bombs it takes to do such and such and things like that. But please ask, and I'll answer all your questions in a bomber special coming up in the next couple of days. Hopefully that MiG-9 can take out the HE-162. Gunship mode this game. Probably going to end poorly, but oh well. So yeah, let me know what your questions are. One thing that has actually changed recently, oh, that's an interesting light. Yeah, it is a blue light. One thing that has actually changed recently is actually your guns. So it's a bit like naval battle now. You see how the little green dots follow? That's actually a gun bearing, so you can now tell where your guns are, and it also gives a reload. So when you fire them, you can know how they're going and if they're reloading or not.
Attacking.
So we've got B29 below us. We'll lead on those, I reckon. It's alright, neither of us really can hit each other. Let's go hunting it. So yeah, let me know what your questions are for things. Also torpedoes as well. So I'm going to do a bumper episode on both of these things. So let me know in the comments what you want to know, and I will try my best to answer those questions. So hopefully I'll be able to answer all those, and hopefully this MiG-9 does not die. try and get the focus on me. And he's returning to the airfield. Oh, great. Now in a bad situation here because I don't have the depression to shoot at him. Sparky, sparks. Lots of sparky 50 cals. I think he's going down, or he's getting some speed. Drat. Okay. And that MiG-9 obviously has run out of ammunition, which is really unhelpful. I swear I've been having one of those days where I've just been playing with people that are just... Well, you just wonder what they're thinking sometimes. You just question yourself and question everything, really. You just go, my god, seriously? Dude, seriously? Yeah, it's always fun when that happens. So... As I said, let me know in the comments below. I'll try and answer everything you've got, and we'll go from there. And I'm actually going to end this video here, I think, because there's not much more going to happen. Because that MiG-9 just crashed. What a twat. Oh dear. I reckon he's going to be going to his airfield. So, yeah. Oh gosh. The fun part of bomber gameplay sometimes, when you're basically in a team that just... So anyway, what else is new? I've been playing a lot of Fallout New Vegas again lately, actually. Really actually enjoying that. I sort of... It's funny. I'm thinking of doing a video on Mass Effect and Dragon Age, comparing the two. Because, well, they're both pretty much the same game in story and everything like that. And it's kind of like Fallout. Fallout 4 is considered the best Fallout now. But going back and playing New Vegas, that game had such... Well, it had so much more character to it, and storyline. The stories were so much better, and the actual world was better as well. The environment, everything like that was really, really cool. And, well, that's something that intrigues me, is just, you know, we get these new games, and there's very rarely better than old games sometimes. Which just, you sort of just scratch your head sometimes. For instance, with Mass Effect Andromeda, the game looks worse than Dragon Age Inquisition. And also, Dragon Age Inquisition actually works, whereas, you know, Mass Effect does not work for me currently, which is just, oh gosh, just another bloody thing that's happening with it. Basically, they put a patch through that deleted some of my video drivers and stuff like that, so I can't actually play the game, which is always a good sign when you can't play a video game that you own. Because you don't want to own a game to play, you want to own it to, you know, sit there and not play it. Let's see if we can get a couple of these vehicles with a pass over. Sparks. Oh god, I love sparks. Sparks are so much fun. So yeah, you know, things like Mass Effect Andromeda, you know, it just does not work. Yet, Dragon Age Inquisition runs perfectly, it's still fun, and it has a better story. So I went back to look at New Vegas, and, well, good god, it's just, the story is so much better than that of Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was just really bland in comparison, and the world just did not have that vibe to it. The only time I really felt it was Far Harbor. I really enjoyed that DLC, and also, well, a bit of spoiler territory here and a little bit of a sort of a fan theory, but what I believe in Fallout 4 is you're actually a cyborg, which would make the game much more interesting, and it would make much more sense, much like Mass Effect being, you know, that you're indoctrinated, that sort of theory. So we're losing 2 engines, we're going down. This is not a good sign. They'll be fine. Just 2 engines. We only need 2 engines. Least we can do is try and get a soft landing on this thing. There we go, softish landing. Thank God that's over and done with. Good God. So yeah, as I was saying, the games just, I don't know what it is. They just seem to be missing out on things. And especially with Mass Effect, it's just such a letdown. Such a letdown. Anyway guys, with that, I'm going to go. I will catch you again soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Bit of a rambly video today. Nothing too interesting, I know. It was a bit of a dull video. But I do hope the news segment interested you slightly. Alright guys, have a lovely night, and I'll catch you again soon. This is Screezilla out. Bye-bye.